Story 1. Make cloaks in fashion. I'm talking hooded Lord of the Rings style. I got a cloak for Christmas and everywhere I go in it feels like some sort of quest now. It's amazing. Wife, get milk. Me, I shall not fail you. Dramatic cloak exit. Wife, Jesus, for Christ's sake. Story 2. Asking someone's ex what happened in their relationship when you don't know them. Saying no thank you directly to small talk with people I'll never see again anyway. Asking people how much money they make. Story 3. Just leaving places, parties, or others' houses. Goodbyes are so annoying to me. I'm pretty good at leaving quickly, and my close friends accept an I'm leaving and the door closing behind me. I wish Irish goodbyes weren't frowned upon. Story 4. Not asking, how are you, as a greeting or responding to it. It's not a real question, as no one expects an answer other than good or fine, and there's really no reason to do it with people you don't know, like in retail. It's a useless formality. Story 5. Men showing platonic affection without others chastising them for it, calling them girls, gay, and other ways of perpetuating toxic masculinity. Also going topless. Story 6. Being honest and direct. It feels like you can't say something negative when someone is asking what you think. You must tiptoe around what you actually think if it's something negative, but you can directly say it if it's something positive. Story 7. I wish people were more open with each other. It is very looked down upon in society to discuss general details, advice, ambition, and woes in life. There seems to be a certain set of unwritten rules when it comes to making conversation, and this culture of small talk reinforces the idea of purposeless talking just for the sake of talking, making most day-to-day discussions very boring. Story 8. Being able to speak up against abusers or people who make public spaces unpleasant is important. For some reason, it's socially acceptable to come into a restaurant smelling like marijuana and annoying everybody else, or nobody says anything when somebody comes in with kids yelling, screaming, running around, and tripping the servers. People simply accept it when public property is destroyed, or when people steal, or when there's any nuisance, including people bringing fake service dogs into places. People may complain online about it, but in public, nobody says anything. Well, almost nobody. I do. I'm not afraid to speak up in public. But then I am shamed and put down, and everybody gives me a glare, even though almost every person there wishes they could do the same thing. But society tells us that we can't. So when somebody has their kids screaming, yelling, running around, and destroying public property, people will complain online and do nothing, but I will speak up and suddenly I'm the bad guy. I want it to be socially acceptable for people to address these issues publicly instead of being silent and then complaining online but not actually doing anything. Story 9. I wish it were socially acceptable to talk about drug use and not be labeled and vilified for it. I'm not trying to promote drug use, but I also don't feel like the shame and hostility towards it is helping anyone. Story 10. I've been gifted a cloak from my boyfriend's mom. I've always wanted to wear vampire or Victorian clothes in Gothic styles, but I never had the money to buy a good quality cloak or dresses. This is my start getting into that fashion. I got a cloak now. It's time to get dresses and shoes to wear. Let's go into 2025 wearing what we want. Story 11. I'm a dude and I want skirts. Not short skirts, but long swishy robes, cloaks, capes, etc. I want the grandeur and regality of it with every step I take. Story 12. Shamelessly eating with my hands. My hands are clean and perfectly ready for eating with, so why can't I eat with them? Here in the United States, people look at me like I'm crazy when I set my fork to the side and dig in with my fingers instead. I'm a white woman from the Midwest. By the way, my family tried to teach me silverware, but I didn't bother to learn. Story 13. Punching Nazis in the face. Apparently, we have to be the bigger people. I do not condone or encourage any act of violence on anyone as per Reddit guidelines. Please do not ban me. I learned my lesson after being banned on day 83 of a 100-day streak. Story 14. Real customer service interactions, tone for tone. You come at me nice, you get nice back. But you come in hot. They don't pay people in customer service enough to be dirt under your feet. You think the cashier runs the website? You think they know why it was a certain way last year but isn't anymore? And don't deceive a deceiver with some story about why you can't pay your bill. I'm not a good enough actor to seem to care about these people I do not know or why it could somehow pertain to your bill not getting paid. Just say it's going to be late, and that's enough. I don't need you to convince me someone is dying. Save us both the time. Story 15. I want a little person. I want to paint them green and have them wear green clothing. The only thing they will ever have to do is basically operate the remote controls for me while watching TV or listening to music. Anytime someone comes over to hang out or whatever, I will act like it's no big deal and that they're kind of odd if they say anything about my arrangement. I will happily pay them quite handsomely for their services. They will be more than welcome to help themselves to any food or drink that I have. There will be no abuse of any kind. All they have to do is be very small, entirely green, and able to use remote controls. I've tried placing ads on Craigslist, but they always get removed before anyone can reply to them. I'd love to hear any advice from anyone who has tips on how to make this happen. Story 16. I curse in every sentence. Personally, I am someone who curses a lot and am female, age 20, but people can't take it. Women and men really need to grow thick skin. Also, it's just fun to curse and express your emotions. Story 17. Hilarious. People on here are answering the question exactly for what it is, providing a socially unacceptable answer, and being downvoted into oblivion for accurately completing the task. Some of you weak people doing the downvoting need to have a hard, long look at yourselves. Story 18. I often see people walking in the rain or at a bus stop when it's cold outside or otherwise struggling when I'm driving from point A to point B. It would be nothing for me to give them a lift on my way, but it's so awkward to pull over and ask. Will they be offended because I think they could use help? Will they think I'm a serial killer? Story 19. I don't help little kids when they fall. I just tell them to get up by themselves and move on. One day they might not have anyone to help them, and everyone should do the same, in my opinion. Story 20. Asking for more money at work every time I'm asked to do more work. We had a deal when you hired me. You pay this much, I work this hard. Everything on top of that should have a price. Story 21. Being able to exercise at work. I mean stuff like running up the stairs between meetings, doing push-ups in your office, running down the hallway, and performing jumping jacks while you wait for the photocopy machine to finish. A chin-up bar in doorways. Not super sweaty stuff, just a few easy things throughout the day. Story 22. For parents of misbehaving children in public to be called out on their lack of parenting. Too often, society excuses it as kids will be kids, or attributes poor parenting to being incredibly tiring, and labels you as the bad guy when you express your concerns. Yes, I understand that kids will scream and shout or run about, but it's your job as a parent to correct them and tell them that such behavior is not acceptable in certain venues or situations. I'm not expecting total silence or angelic behavior, but some effort to control them when in shared public spaces. But no, too many parents today will just let their children run wild and simply look on with a smile, thinking how cute they are, with zero regard for the annoyance they are causing everybody else. Story 23. I really want a tank. I want to park it in my driveway and drive it around town, to the grocery store, to trailheads, etc. It doesn't have to be a big tank. It can be a little one with just enough power to get me and my orange cat around. Story 24. Strictly utilitarian gifts. When I was a teenager, I received socks and shaving razors for Christmas, and it altered my opinion of what a Christmas gift should be. I gave what is commonly believed to be a bad gift to someone this year, and it made me realize I don't want to participate in such a materialistic ritual every year anymore. Story 25. Being euthanized on demand. If you are old and sick or have a long history of mental problems and none of the medications and therapy help, you should be able to pass away in peace if you want to. Yes, obviously there are methods to end your life, but why does it have to be so barbaric? Nothing scares me more than being consumed by an untreatable illness and not being able to end it all with dignity. People who are against euthanasia have no idea how much suffering and illness can bring to you and your family. Story 26. An easy button for gratuitous consensual sexual encounters. They said it was Tinder. They lied. In Tinder's defense, I've been hit with the ugly bat a time or two as I got older. 2 cents. Story 27. To be able, as a woman, to leave work at work. Society dictates that women care and take care of their work and the people they work with too much, in my opinion. Story 28. To impregnate women who just want to raise a kid. I want a legacy, want kids at least in theory, but my wife doesn't want kids and, to be honest, I'm really enjoying our life and don't want to raise them. I would love to just make a deal with a few women and donate what they need to be moms. Story 29. A style in which women will wear bikini bottoms where their pubic hair peeks out on top and have different styles, lengths, and shapes. It will be known as peaky pies. Story 30. Eating dessert for the main course in a restaurant. I have a sweet tooth, and after the main course, I am too stuffed to have dessert, even though I would like to taste it since they seem so good. And it's things I don't have at home. Story 31. To be able to call out and tell off incompetent employees. Always having to deal with people who never answer their emails or only do the bare minimum of their job descriptions. Looking at you, human resources. Story 32. Speaking your mind to rude and entitled customers because they paid their premiums. I work in insurance, and more than half of claimants are rude, entitled, and don't know anything about their policy or limits. They expect the insurance to cover everything regardless of their limits and policy requirements. News alert. Not all policies are the same. There are policy limits and exclusions that apply to your claim. Plus, your contractor, mitigation companies, attorneys, or public adjusters are not your friends. They simply want a piece of your claim settlement to collect their commissions. I hear the same complaint all day. That's why I pay insurance. Sadly, most are clueless and never once look at a policy or deductible. It's pathetic to see them act rudely. Some yell or scream. I end the call and move on to the next client. All calls are recorded and documented, and I always write a report to underwriting and client service, who review and oversee the policy renewals. A lot of insured individuals are getting dropped because of excessive demands on the insurance companies, and you're all paying the price because of their greed and thinking you're getting over the insurance companies. If you're dealing with any claims examiner or senior personnel like myself, keep in mind to treat us with respect and appreciation. We have the tools to make the process of your claim go smoothly. Insurance is a privilege to have. If you're not happy, self-insure yourself and pay out of pocket. Story 33. Wearing pajamas and slippers outside of the house, especially to the office. I absolutely love winter and the fact that those massive Arsene Wenger coats are in fashion because for about 2 months of the year I can secretly wear my pajamas outside without anyone knowing. I just wish people could know and not care. Story 34. Normalizing weddings without inviting people you aren't close to just for the sake of making them feel important, included, or happy. It's the couple's big day. They get to decide who they want to celebrate it with. They shouldn't have to deal with unnecessary drama, chaos, and stress because of the number of guests. Story 35. Telling someone they sound stupid is difficult. It's not about bullying them, but genuinely correcting the facts they are stating. Some people will talk and talk about things I know are incorrect, and I could find the research to back it up within minutes. However, I don't want to deal with the fallout. Plus, if I see one more person cite a study from a clearly biased source that was later discredited, I will lose it. Story 36. Telling someone they sound stupid, not to bully them but to genuinely correct the facts they are saying. Some people will talk extensively about things I know are incorrect and could easily pull up research to back it within minutes, but I do not want to deal with the fallout. Plus, if I see one more person cite a study from a clearly biased source that was then discredited, I will lose it. Story 37. Really want to harm people who smoke around me. Secondhand smoke causes migraines. I should be able to cause an equivalent amount of pain to them. Story 38. Disrespecting elders. Not all elders deserve respect, but when you return the condescending and rude energy they give you, especially if you are a minor, you are called disrespectful. It should be socially acceptable to revoke respect from anyone if their actions call for it. Elders should not be the exception to this that society thinks they are. Unfortunately, respect is often revoked from minors who did not act disrespectfully at all, while the elders who were actually being disrespectful are let off the hook. Basically, my point comes down to ageism.